Hey, what's going on, guys? Chris Fluke here. It's another edition of Strength School. Now, today we're going to be talking about developing kids, and it's going to be development in a wide range of things, right? A wide range of skills, motor learning, stuff like that. And from the moment that you have a child, you're introduced to this term called a growth curve, right? Where it's every time you're taking your child into the doctor, they're checking height, they're checking weight, they're checking all these different things here, and then they print you out a chart, right? And they want that chart to be a nice, steady kind of a nice steady line with not too much, not huge fluctuations. There's going to be some of this and some of that, but really they don't want these big dips. They kind of want everything to be a slow and steady climb as your child develops, right? So the moment that things become concerning is when the growth curve goes from this, where it is that nice line in a nice pattern here, to something like this where it levels off. I personally, speaking about my daughter, and Maurice and I had this instance where our kid's great, kid's healthy, and all of a sudden stuff starts to level off. She starts to lose weight. Next thing you know, we're in the hospital for 5 days with all this stuff going on. Something like this happens, it's worrisome, right? She turned out to be okay, and she's beautiful and she's healthy, but when you use markers like this, parameters like this, to try to find outliers. And in our case, it was an outlier that raised some red flags, and we were able to get the help that we needed, right? So when we look at normal development in a child, we also want to look at development of athletic skills or physical fitness related stuff, right? If my goal is to be a great athlete in high school, college, pros, whatever it may be, we want our development to be looking more like this than like this, all right? And the moment that our development starts to look like this is if we have so much time, so much structure, so much inflexibility with what we're doing, like single sport participation, private lessons all the time in that one given sport, and just kind of shifting, putting all your eggs in that one basket. Next thing you know, you're 10, 11, 12, 13, and your development's going to start to redline a little bit, and it's going to flatten out. Whereas if you play multiple sports, if you have a lot of unstructured free play where you're out playing street ball, basketball with your friends, then you have football going on at night, maybe you play street hockey, whatever it may be, right? As long as you're outside doing some stuff, unstructured, being a kid and having fun, your growth pattern it's going to probably look a lot more like this. You see stuff like this in sports. Just to use a sport like wrestling, for example, because I'm familiar with it. There's so many kids that are that 5th, 6th grade champion that once they get into high school, they start to level off here, or they just kind of drop out and quit the sport altogether, right? So what is the best way to avoid that? So I just saw a bird flying out of our wall here in the barn, man. It scared me a little bit. So how do we avoid this, right? We want to build a big, strong foundation, right? And that's what this first step is here, right? We have to build this big, wide base so that we could continue to develop and fine-tune as we get older, so that we could train in an elite pattern at when the time comes, right? At the appropriate age, when we're 17, 18, 19. We don't want to skip these first couple steps and then as a 12-year-old start doing what those 18, 19, 20-year-old athletes are doing that are in college, because we missed this whole foundation. I always share the story of, there's a 20-year-old baseball player, his younger brother's in high school. The younger brother's like, oh, I'm gonna do my brother's strength and conditioning program. You're like, cool, but your brother, before he embarked on that program, had 5 years of training, had 8 years of training, whatever it may be. His training experience, his training age is significantly greater than yours. So when he does that program, because he has the foundation built, he's going to be able to fine tune and excel. If we don't have the foundation built, if you don't have that experience to build upon, you're not going to get the same increases, the same gains, the same improvements that one would if they have that base built. So we always have to build that foundation, right? And this summer we have 6 weeks of clinics, 6 weeks of camps going on here where we are going to focus on building this foundation. This gym that we have here is Cornerstone Fitness. That cornerstone is that first piece that they lay down in any kind of structure they built. This barn that I'm standing in right now, there's a cornerstone somewhere, and based off of where that cornerstone is, they were able to build this wonderful barn that lasts 200 plus years, right? So we're building that foundation, right? And we're having 2 options this year for kids. Like I said, kids 8 to 10 and 10 to 12. One of them is going to be functional strength and conditioning. And during this time, we're going to be looking to build their athletic base, their skill sets a little bit here. We're going to be able to make sure these kids could hold a push-up plank or do some push-ups, and they know how to jump properly. They know how to get into that athletic stance. They jump rope. They might even climb some ropes. They might do medicine ball throws, things like that, where we're running, we're jumping, we're skipping, we're running backwards, we're crawling. A lot of the stuff that we did in years past, that's what's going to be going on here in functional strength and conditioning. Then the next week, we're going to be fine-tuning some movement skills with our speed and agility stuff. We're going to be working on acceleration. We're going to be working on speed. We're going to be working on different kind of movement mechanics, trying to get kids to move a little bit more efficiently. But one thing that I will try to emphasize here is that this speed and agility program is going to be a lot easier is if you have this foundation built. And where you build this foundation is functional strength and conditioning. And I will say this first block, man, we need to live in here, especially if we have some young kids. We need to build their, physical literacy is the term that's used. We need to introduce them to a wide array of skills. And, if you think about mathematics, they're doing addition and subtraction before they're doing calculus. These camps, that's what we're working on. We're working on addition. We're working on subtraction. We're working on multiplication. We're not doing this high-level stuff right now. We're making sure that we master the basics. We master the fundamentals. Camps are going to be going on. We're going to have these clinics. They're going to be 1 week. Each one is going to last for 1 week, but we're going to have 6 of them. There's going to be 3 of them in a row right before 4th of July. Then there's going to be 3 of them in the weeks after 4th of July. So 3 before, 3 after that week, that 4th of July week, all right? And again, we're just going to be alternating. 1 week is functional strength and conditioning. Next week is speed and agility. Sessions are going to be from 9 to 11, 2 different age groups, which I already talked about. We're going to have a lot of helpers here, college athletes coming in, high school athletes. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be outside. We're going to be inside. It's going to just be a good, wonderful time out here on the farm. If you guys have questions, ask away, man. chrisflick.net. Go to summer camps. Registration's going to be there. Right now, I have 20 spots. The first 20 people to sign up are going to get the early bird discount. They're going to get $10 off the, they're going to get $10 off the clinic price. After that, the prices are what they are. Register. I hope to hear from you guys soon, man. Peace, everybody.